60 Minutes Overtime.
This week on 60 Minutes, we report on Pope Leo's church. The first U.S.-born leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo has taken an increasingly outspoken stance on global conflicts and U.S. immigration policy. In the pews, another quieter shift is taking place inside the Catholic Church. Across the country, more Americans are choosing to join it. We've learned that in your archdiocese, you're seeing the largest number of converts in recent history joining the Catholic Church, many of them young adults. We've heard similar reports from around the country about packed services and increased regular attendance by millennials and Gen Z. How do you explain this surge in interest?
I guess I don't have the answer to that.
We spoke with three of the nation's most senior Catholic leaders, Cardinal Robert McElroy of Washington, D.C., Cardinal Joseph Tobin of Newark, New Jersey, and Cardinal Blaise Cupich of Chicago.
We are doing some surveys about people who are coming to church to see what's motivating them. I do think, though, that research is showing that there really is a deep hunger in the hearts of young people for something that can help them with the meaning of life. But also there's a woundedness on the part of young people that they are seeking healing for. We don't have all the answers, but we are going to try to drill down to find out more about that.
This trend of converts comes after decades of decline. According to data compiled by Georgetown University, fewer and fewer adults had been joining the church since the early 2000s. And it wasn't just that. Since 2000, the Catholic Church had seen a decrease in weddings, baptisms, even funerals. But in the past few years, something's shifted. Since around 2022, dioceses across the country say they're seeing more people join the church again, many of them young adults. This Easter, some archdioceses saw their highest number of new Catholics in 2 decades.
The number of those joining the church this year is a record for the archdiocese, which is a wonderful thing.
A record this year?
For us. At the ceremonies where we have new Catholics come into the church, either non-Christians or Christians from other churches, we had 1,800 this year at the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. So that's a wonderful thing because we're seeing this across the country, but we're not quite sure what's bringing it about other than moral leadership in the world. What a tragedy to have a world in which there are not moral leaders. And I think young people, and young adults particularly, are looking for a sense of that in their lives. And some of those are coming into the church for that reason.
Cardinal Tobin, do you think that surge in interest and attendance has something to do with Pope Leo?
Yes, I do. I've had the privilege of working closely with 4 popes, very different people in a lot of ways. But each one in some way was the right one for that moment in time. I believe that Pope Leo is the right man at this time.
You know, the rise in attendance now in the Catholic Church, though, follows many years of decline, which was in part because of the church sexual abuse scandal. And many Catholics who tithed and gave to the church and brought their children into the church felt that the church had lost its moral standing. How difficult is that then now to speak out on moral issues given the challenges that the church has had publicly because of the sex abuse scandal?
Well, I think that it prompts us to be even more forthright in doing everything possible to protect children, but also to address the harm that was done. That, I think, is something that's always on the front burner for us. With regard to the fall off in terms of people practicing, we're seeing this, however, in other religions. So it's also part of the secularization that's happening in society today. And people have a lot more options on Sunday and on the weekend than they did before. So I think there are a number of factors that contributed to that decline.
A study from the Pew Research Center last year found that only a small share of the roughly 53 million Catholics in the U.S. are converts, about 8%. Most say they came to the church through marriage, while others cite spiritual reasons or people close to them. But those numbers only tell part of the story. The bigger question is identity, how Catholic Americans define their place in the country.
The nation has a big birthday coming up, our semi-quincentennial, the 250th birthday. I want to ask, what does it mean to be patriotic to you?
For me, patriotism is about being united in the common task of creating the opportunities for everyone to flourish, that they would have the opportunity to be the person God intended them to be. That is part of the aspirations that immigrants came here with, just an opportunity to have a fresh start. So how can we work together to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to flourish? I think that's patriotism.
This mark is more permanent than any government identity or record.
For us as American Catholics, we love our country not merely because we were born here, if we were, but rather because of its aspirations of democracy, justice, equality, of freedom that have been lived out with differing levels of success all through our history, and having to change it and readapt it to make it more true to its core. So for us as Catholic Americans, we love our country because of what it aspires to be and has for the past 250 years.